Next on Worcester News tonight, 7 people are hospitalized after a fire in the city. We hear from a woman who was stuck inside. Plus, a Worcester High School receives a much-needed donation. How the new athletic equipment will benefit every student. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Brittany Schaefer. It's the last day of winter and the sunshine looks like it's sticking around for a few days. Spring is a welcome sign to many. Let's send it over to meteorologist Chris Galoninger for a quick look at our local forecast.
I'm meteorologist Chris Galoninger. Spring starts tomorrow, but it does begin rather cold. Temperatures tonight with those clear skies dropping back down into the 20s. In fact, that happens by midnight. Out across Worcester and up towards Route 2 in Orange and Athol. By 4 o'clock in the morning, it's only 27 degrees. 30s along the coast, northern New England, much colder into the single digits and teens. Abundant sunshine. Temperatures warming into the mid-30s by 9 o'clock in the morning, and then a nice jump by lunchtime. In fact, we're into the middle 40s with high temperatures approaching 50 degrees, especially just east of Worcester. So about 43 for a high coming up, and then we have upper 40s for the remainder of the week. And then for the weekend, colder air moves in, and with it, a possible coastal storm. I'll have much more on that coming up in your full weather forecast.
7 residents are hospitalized after a fire broke out at a Worcester 3-decker early this morning. When firefighters arrived, residents were screaming for help. Our Rosalind Flaherty spoke to a woman trapped inside. She's live at the scene now with the latest. Rosalind?
Brittany, that woman says the smoke was so thick she wasn't sure she was going to make it out alive. Firefighters say when they first arrived, people were hanging out of the windows and they had to pull them out. Cell phone video captures flames shooting out of this 3-decker in Worcester. Ashley Othau was one of 7 people trapped inside. She didn't think she was going to make it out alive.
I tried to get down the front stairs. The smoke was so thick. We ran to the back stairs. We didn't think we were going to make it. I wanted to jump.
Firefighters say people were hanging out of the windows when they arrived. They rescued Othau and 7 others using ladders. 5 adults and 2 children were transported to the hospital, including her boyfriend.
He's in ICU. He was the worst one. They said he's in ICU for probably 48 hours.
Her neighbor, Carlos Nunez, says he woke up to yelling.
A lot of people make noise. So I said, oh, the landlord said, get out of the building, get out.
Othau lost her cat in the fire, but says she is thankful for the firefighters who saved her life.
Smoke was just everywhere. I don't know if I would be able to breathe anymore. I can't thank you enough. I'd like to find out who they are and, do something for them.
The Red Cross was on scene earlier today, helping the 14 people displaced. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Live in Worcester, Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
A Worcester Public School Committee member is concerned over possible pollution at an elementary school. Dante Comparetto says having a dry cleaner next door to the Gates Lane School could be a problem. Last month, White and Bright cleaners were fined by the state for committing air quality and hazardous waste issues. Comparetto says these issues have affected a nearby home. He says with children next door, the possible issues need to be investigated.
PCE levels, well above safe limits. PCEs are a real concern. They've shown to increase, kidney, liver damage, cancer, a whole slew of health problems. If the residential properties surrounding White Bright are having real issues of contamination, then there's a good chance that the students, staff, and educators here at Gates Lane are probably at risk too.
Comparetto filed the agenda item, which will be brought up at Thursday's committee meeting. Important lessons shared with Worcester Middle School students Tuesday. The Lieutenant Governor among a group of teaching the kids about the internet safety and the consequences of bad behavior online. Our Chandler Walsh has the story.
Middle school students learn there are consequences for inappropriate online activity.
I took the picture, put their middle finger up. They were disinvited to the Little League World Series.
Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito and District Attorney Joe Early Jr. visited Forest Grove Middle School to discuss cyberbullying and sharing sexual photos.
They probably don't think in a moment if they do share an image or send a text that it could end up beyond the party or friend that they're communicating with.
DA Early says it's a problem across the country. He says his office's cyberbullying and internet safety program is busy.
We've just been to just about every school in the city and many throughout Worcester County. We've spoken to over 500,000 children, teachers, adults.
Forest Grove principal Kareem Tatum says like any other school, they see cases of cyberbullying, including sexting. He says having consistent discussions on internet safety is necessary for prevention.
It's not something that happens readily here, but it does happen. And like I said, the education is the key. Because these are decisions that they make that could impact them for the rest of their lives.
The Baker-Polito administration is working to pass new legislation. It would allow youth who share explicit photos to take an education program through the DA's office instead of facing a judge.
We would also like to give prosecutors more tools. Rather than to prosecute, we can educate more of our youth.
Current state law allows a child pornography conviction on a person's third offense. Early says kids are defined by what they put online, and they need to treat others with respect.
We try to tell kids you don't want to be before a judge. You can stop this earlier. You know, if something's iffy about sending it out, wait 24 hours. Talk to a trusted adult.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
A Worcester high school receives a much-needed donation from a national organization. Geico and Good Sports gifted Doherty Memorial High School $16,000 worth of new athletics equipment. Good Sports has donated more than $40 million in sports equipment nationwide. Doherty was given items including weights, sneakers, and athletic wear. Assistant Principal Ed Capstick says it wouldn't have been possible without the donation.
We'd like to thank both Geico and Good Sports for providing our athletes with the chance to work out with equipment that is modern, because in the past we've kind of struggled with some of the equipment, but with their donations we've really stepped it up quite a bit, and we're grateful for that.
To leave, seeing them have all this new equipment, and you can see all the kids enjoying some of the equipment already today, it's just a great feeling, and it's good to know that it's in good hands and it's good here for a good purpose.
The lessons that these kids learn on the athletic field is going to stay with them for the rest of their lives, so we certainly thank the donation today.
And Capstick says the school sports teams and also gym classes will be able to use the equipment daily. Southbridge Innovation Center announces a master plan for their industrial park. The industrial park project began years ago, and the companies located there employ more than 400 people. Tuesday, Franklin Realty Advisors announced a master plan to add open spaces for the public, as well as biking and hiking trails. The park's cogeneration facility also went online to reduce their carbon footprint and energy costs for tenants.
Which is one of the most efficient ways to generate energy. You basically generate electricity, and the heat from that generation you reuse the waste heat for steam and hot water and cold water, believe it or not, and you use that waste heat to heat and cool your buildings.
And the park is the largest taxpayer in town. There's 400,000 square feet left, which will be used for manufacturing and housing. Worcester is one step closer to selecting a construction manager for Polar Park. The city's selection committee is recommending Gilbane Hunt for the job. The joint venture has experience working on Major League and AAA ballparks. They've also worked on Worcester sites like the Trial Court and WPI. The Worcester Redevelopment Authority plans to make the vote on Wednesday. An update to a story we brought to you last year. Worcester's last Jewish deli is closing next month. The owner of Weintraubs Jewish Delicatessen was previously looking for someone to continue the 99-year tradition, but says they couldn't find anyone. Ed Murphy bought the property last summer when the restaurant was struggling. He says a French crepe cafe will take over the space in spring. Next month, the DCU Center will be inviting guests to do something on the ice they've never done before. People can come in and paint the ice on April 29th. The DCU's marketing coordinator says the goal is to have the community get together and paint images of Worcester's history.
The Railers are hopefully in the playoffs, and even if not, it's a great way to kind of conclude the season as well, to come paint the Railers ice. It's a cool opportunity for the fans. We talked with the Worcester Historical Museum, and they've kind of helped us come up with a guide that speaks to the most prominent things in the history. So, you know, you've got the rocket and the Valentine and of course the smiley face, but the history of Worcester means something different to everybody.
The DCU Centers says you don't have to be an artist to participate.